Welcome back. You're watching live from Paris on France 24. It's time now for Media Watch. For that, I'm joined by Nick Rushworth. Good evening to you,
Hi,
Nick.
Laura.
Now, there are some whisperings doing the rounds in the French press, aren't they, about the intentions of former President Nicolas Sarkozy and his friends?
Well, it's the 2nd of July today, and over the weekend we had les grands départs, everyone hitting the road to go on holiday, and the French mood at the moment is very much like, how soon can I get away? And it all begins today, really. I mean, sneakily they will say the 14th of July, but what they really mean is 2nd July. But that political season is still there, and we see that on Le Lab, which is the blog for Europe 1, and this is its headline here: Les amis de Nicolas Sarkozy se dotent d'un bras armé financier. I can just...
You're going to translate that for us, Nick?
Well, I will. Basically, what's happened is that when Nicolas Sarkozy said, right, I'm pulling off stage now, his friends rallied round and set up an organisation called the Friends of Nicolas Sarkozy.
A bit like the Friends of Syria, but not really.
Not quite the same thing. They had a lunch in May, and basically their message then was, we're not political, we're just going to try and say things from time to time
Talk about the good old days.
to keep the spirit of Sarkozyism alive.
Oh, lovely. Right.
There we can see that meeting in May. Now, today's news is, in fact, that, well, what we've got is, in fact, two organisations. One is the political arm of the Sarkozy Friends, and we also have the financial arm of the Sarkozy Friends. Now, the financial arm of the Sarkozy Friends means that it can raise funds and, under French law, can become a political party.
And why would you need funds if you're not going to be a political party?
Good question, Laura. So this is obviously going the rounds on the blogs and the tweets at the moment. Sarkozy himself is very much still in holiday mode. He's going off to Canada and Morocco. But Le Lab is saying...
Spending a lot of time in Morocco, isn't he?
That's another story. We'll get back to that perhaps a bit later. But let me just go to a tweet that I saw. Yeah. This is by Thierry Labro, who I established is a journalist in Luxembourg. And he raises the question, one of the remarks made on Twitter this afternoon: Et si Sarkozy s'affranchissait de l'UMP pour se relancer? If Sarkozy got rid of himself from the UMP for a comeback.
So, ditched the party that made him president.
Now, the coincidence with that is that the friends of Nicolas Sarkozy, who met today as well, actually, saying their next meeting is on the 23rd and 24th of August, which is exactly the time all the other political parties will be having their summer universities, their political conferences, and where they touch base with the rank and file.
Try and decide what their party line is. All right, well, let's get back to the holidays, because it's the grand départ, or the grand traffic jams, isn't it? The
grand départ and the grand traffic jams. And another worry for French people, this is on the France 2 website, about the requirement now in France from the 1st of July to have not one, but 2 drink-drive test machines, breathalyzers, in your car. Now, of course, that's...
Why is that then? Is this supposed to save the police some work, or is this just...
Well, you know that France has the worst road death, one of the worst road death records in Europe, and 1 in 3 of road deaths in France since 2006 are linked to drink driving. Now, the statistics for Germany are 1 in 10. The statistics for Britain are much better as well. So there's a big desire
to... Well, you see very little publicity about it here compared to in the UK and elsewhere, where you do see these hard-hitting campaigns, don't you? You don't see so much of that here.
Well, you're not going to see much about it here, because do you have one or do I have one? In the newsroom, I didn't find... That's one thing.
I don't have one attached to my bike.
But the sales of these drink-drive breathalyzers are not up to scratch. You can't get them. And so what's happened is that there's actually a delay now till the 1st of November when a fine will come in. It's just €11. And that fine, basically, if you're caught, you pay on the spot. Now, so for people visiting France, they do have a bit... They shouldn't panic. They should get the breathalyzers, but they shou'n't panic, because there's a leeway till the 1st of June.
OK, now, the French authorities are trying to scare the living daylights out of people, aren't they, with some publicity that they've taken to show when it all goes horribly wrong in Russia.
Well, the France 2 television station here at lunchtime had a news report not about the breathalyzer tests, but actually about events in Russia. Look at this horrible accident. That's shown on the lunchtime news here in France, and it's actually a crash in Siberia last week.
Is that a real accident?
And yes, a real accident. And that report, to scare the living daylights out of the French, is that in Moscow, in Russia, as from the 1st of July, so the same date, they're actually introducing a zero-tolerance policy. Can you imagine this, Laura? Andorra, 0 grams. So when the person is breathalyzed there, 0 grams. Otherwise, an 18-month fine, and not an 18-month fine, an 18-month withdrawal of your license. That's extraordinary. And just those last pictures there are actually a laser technology, which is supposed to detect vapors in a car. That's the idea for the Russians to get on with their...
Bit of high tech there.
Yes.
Clamping down
it's
on
not worked so far, because all it's detected is windscreen liquid on
right.
that.
Still in progress, but a big evil in society and a cause of many deaths here in France and elsewhere. All right, Nicholas Rushworth, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you very much indeed. That's it for Media Watch. It's time now for our roundup of the best of the internet, if you like, and including tonight's stories, a village that's up for sale on eBay. That and more now in Web News.